Hi Brollies, Marvin here from TechBroll.com, where we do unboxings, reviews, and sexy B-rolls. And today we're back with another smartphone review as we take a look at the new Realme 6i, the latest budget offering from Realme that features the world's first MediaTek Helio G80 chipset. Now, a lot of reviews have already come out, but if you're still undecided if you're going to buy this phone, well, this video should pretty much give you all the details you need to know, especially when it comes to gaming performance, camera quality, and various benchmarks. With that being said, let's get into it. Alright guys, so right here we have the packaging for the Realme 6i. And as you can see, the design of the box is pretty much the same with other previously released Realme smartphones. Inside the box, we have some paperwork, a free jelly case, a USB Type-C cable, thankfully, and a quite substantial 18-watt charger, which is very nice for an entry-level smartphone like this. Now, let's take a look at the new Realme 6i, and let's do a quick parts overview first. So in front, we have the 6.5-inch mini drop full screen display with an HD Plus resolution of 1600 by 720 and is protected by Corning Gorilla Glass 3. As you can see, the bezels around the display is thin enough for an entry-level smartphone and has a screen-to-body ratio of 89.8%. It also features the mini drop cutout here on the center to make way for the 16-megapixel selfie camera. And then above that, we also have the subtle-looking earpiece, and as you can see, it also has a pre-applied screen protector, which is really nice considering that we also have a free jelly case to go along with that. As per my research, the Realme 6i's brightness can reach up to 528 nits and has a contrast ratio of 1610:1, but the pixel density is somehow underwhelming at only around 270 ppi. Now looking at the top side, we don't have anything here, and then flipping it on the bottom side, we have a 3.5mm jack, a microphone, a USB Type-C port, and a single downward firing speakers. Now, flipping it on the left side, we have the volume rocker as well as the SIM card slot that supports dual nano SIM cards as well as a micro SD expansion slot. On the other side, we have the power button, and we can also clearly see here the chamfered edges that I really like, and it adds up to the overall aesthetics of the Realme 6i. We can also see here the protrusion or the camera bump. Personally, like I said on my review of the Realme C3, I'm not a fan of this design. I would have preferred if both the volume rocker and the power button are located on the same side, so that not only you can easily reach them with your thumb, but you can also place your smartphone on a surface without accidentally pushing the side buttons. And hopefully, they can consider changing the design on future Realme smartphones. Now at the back, we have here the AI quad camera setup, which features a 48-megapixel main shooter, an 8-megapixel wide-angle lens, a 2-megapixel portrait lens, and a 2-megapixel macro lens. We also have a small flash here, a fingerprint reader, and a Realme logo at the bottom left corner. And as you can see, we have a quite unique and interesting design right here for the green tea variant, with this sort of lines that reacts to lighting from different angles. And what I like about this is that, like the Realme C3, it is also quite fingerprint resistant. However, I'm not sure about the color green for this green tea variant. I personally prefer the other variant, which is the white milk. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this design. Overall, in terms of design and construction for an entry-level smartphone, it is pretty decent, and I don't have any major issues about this aside from the placement of the buttons. I appreciate this having a USB Type-C port, and the chamfered edges looks really nice as well. Now, in terms of the user interface, the Realme 6i features the Realme UI, which is based on ColorOS, but is relatively lightweight and sort of gives you that stock Android experience, and for the most part, it is smooth and snappy. The animations are not too sloppy, and the icons are not too obnoxious as well. Yeah, granted, this is an out-of-the-box experience, and of course, performance will be different once you populate this with more apps. But at first look and touch, the user interface and performance seems to be pretty good overall. Now, let's take a look at the About phone and discuss the key specifications of the Realme 6i. Like I said, it is running the Realme UI version 1, which is based on Android 10 as well. So you get all the features of Android 10 on a relatively lightweight skin. The Realme 6i also features the world's first MediaTek Helio G80 chipset with octa-core that can reach up to 2.05 GHz and also features a Mali G52 GPU. Aside from that, it also has a 4GB of RAM and 128GB of storage for the variant that we have right here, and out of the box, you'll get an available 93.9GB of space. I'll pop the complete specifications on the screen so that you can check it out. But yeah, basing from these specs, the Realme 6i, even being an entry-level smartphone, should provide a decent experience for browsing the user interface, gaming, and media consumption. Moving on, let's discuss about the different interesting features of the Realme 6i. First, we have the focus mode, which basically gives you a few options for relaxing music that you can use like if you're doing yoga, meditation, writing, and things around that nature for maximum focus and relaxation. And although you can find similar ones on YouTube, it's quite nice that you have this feature built in. Aside from that, we also have another focus mode option wherein you can pause distracting apps, and of course, we have the digital well-being to track your activities. We also have here the parental controls for restricting the access for your children, and to add to that, we also have a dedicated kid space feature under the privacy settings, giving you more options to control how your kid uses a smartphone. Now, we also have a built-in dark mode if you're into that, and it works on most pre-installed and compatible apps such as Google Apps. Next, we have Realme Share, which allows you to quickly share files between participating brands such as Realme, Oppo, Xiaomi, and Vivo. Of course, we have the one-handed feature, which is not super necessary as this phone is relatively small, but you have this feature if you need it. Now, we also have here the eye care feature, which is essentially a blue light filter to make the display easier on the eyes, especially during the night or for a prolonged period of reading. Unfortunately, I cannot seem to find the grayscale mode that was available on the Realme C3. Now, under convenience tools, we also have the assistive ball, which gives you a floating ball on the screen that you can use for shortcuts, navigation, and whatnot. And not only that, we also have a smart sidebar here, which is another convenience tool that you can take advantage of for quick tools, shortcuts, and applications. A little bit redundant, but you can choose whatever you prefer. We also have the game space, which in theory should boost the performance of the Realme 6i for gaming. Now, these are only some of the notable features of the Realme 6i inside the Realme user interface that I find interesting, and overall, some of them are quite handy. Now, I honestly believe that this is not necessary because you already have Google Play Store, but Realme also has their own app market, and inside it, of course, you'll find different apps in different categories. Moving on in terms of security, of course, aside from the usual password, we have the fingerprint sensor and the face unlock feature. The fingerprint sensor for the most part is accurate. It's not super instant, but fast enough for me and way faster than my phone's in-display fingerprint sensor. Now, the face unlock works quite well, but it is a two-way process. Once it detects your face, you will have to swipe up to go to the home screen, unlike the fingerprint sensor that it will automatically go to the home screen. However, you may find this handy in some cases, wherein using your finger to unlock your phone is not possible. Alright guys, now let's move on to the more important features of the Realme 6i, and that is the display, sound, camera, battery, and gaming performance. Now, in terms of the display, having only a 1600 by 720 resolution and 270 ppi pixel density, I honestly feel like it is one of the things that doesn't stand out with the Realme 6i. It is adequate for casual media consumption with decent colors and viewing angles, but details are a bit lacking with some artifacts here and there. Now, the single downward firing speaker is usable for the most part, but it lacks some punch on the low end and it doesn't get as loud as I would prefer, which is very important for me as I don't usually use earphones when watching videos casually on a smartphone, but at least we still have a headphone jack if we need it. Now, in terms of the battery, Realme was able to bounce back here by having a quite substantial 5000 mAh of battery with an included 18-watt quick charger and features a reversible USB Type-C, which is very awesome given the fact that this is a budget smartphone. As per testing using PCMark 2.0 with 100% brightness and maximum volume with an earphone plugged in, the Realme 6i lasted for 12.18 hours. Now, charging it using the included 18-watt charger from 10% to 100% took about only 2 hours, which is pretty quick for a 5000 mAh battery. Now, moving on to the raw performance side of things, here are some benchmarks for you guys. And as you can see, with a MediaTek Helio G80 chipset, a Mali G52 GPU, 4GB of RAM, and 128GB storage, the Realme 6i was able to score more than 200,000 in Antutu benchmark and a fairly good score in Geekbench as well and on all our other benchmarks right here. Now, benchmarks are good and all, but how does the Realme 6i perform in real-world gaming scenario? Well, for the most part, gaming with the Realme 6i is pretty smooth with just minor occasional hiccups, but overall, it is definitely capable as you can see on our gameplay here. Asphalt 9 is known to push a smartphone to the test, especially during drifting and bumps, but for the most part, the Realme 6i was able to handle it. Now, in Mobile Legends, even with HD mode and HFR mode enabled, the Realme 6i was able to handle it and the gaming experience in Mobile Legends is really decent. I did not encounter any significant performance issues even during clashes, so we're good here. Now, in Call of Duty Mobile, the game automatically sets the settings to low and medium frame rate and the gameplay experience is pretty decent as well as you can see here. Next, we have PUBG Mobile, and the settings was automatically set to HD with high frame rate by default. And I'd say the gameplay is also quite good, and the Realme 6i is certainly capable for this battle royale game. However, it proved quite difficult for the Realme 6i to perform decently in Ragnarok Mobile even on low settings. It is playable, but the experience is not as smooth as I would prefer. Another thing is that the display is not full screen as you can see, but I think it is more of an issue with the game compatibility itself rather than the smartphone. But yeah, performance on Ragnarok Mobile is playable but not quite enjoyable, especially if you think about the War of Imperium where a lot of players are playing at the same time. On the other hand, if you prefer casual games, then the Realme 6i is definitely more than capable for games like Subway Surfer and Worm Zone. Alright guys, I saved the best for last, so now let's talk about the camera quality. Inside the camera app, we have night mode, video, photo, portrait, 48 megapixel mode, and other options here such as slow-mo and ultra macro. With that being said, let's take a look at some sample photos. Now with proper lighting even indoors, aside from the washed out colors using the ultra-wide lens, the photos have vibrant colors, decent contrast, and adequate details as well without much artifacts. Noise reduction is not too aggressive as well, which is nice, and HDR mode is quite effective, balancing both the highlights and shadows on a not so ideal scenario. The AI feature also surprisingly works on both animals and human beings, which is very cool, and night mode is also pretty usable with good noise reduction as you can see on the sample photos. The macro lens is certainly usable and can produce decent photos if you can nail the focus properly. As for the front-facing selfie camera, out of the box it enables a beautification filter, which is quite unnatural, but you can always disable that if you want. As for the quality of the front-facing selfie camera, some of my shots are not properly in focus, but if it does nail the focus, it is pretty decent. Background separation is decent as well with minor imperfections on some of the edges, but unless you zoom it in, you won't usually notice it. And lastly for video, I don't think it has any stabilization at all, but with proper breathing, you can certainly nail decent videos with this, and using a tripod with a fluid head as you can see, you can get pretty stable footage, but of course, not all of us have these tools, but I just want to share with you the possibilities. As for the slow motion feature, it is fun to play with, but the quality is definitely not the best. Overall, I find the quality of these photos and videos decent enough for social media postings. But let me know in the comments below what you think about the quality of the cameras on the Realme 6i. Alright, so to conclude, given everything that we've tested today, it's still up to you to determine if the features of the Realme 6i suits your needs in relation to your budget. But overall, in my opinion, the Realme 6i is definitely capable for most of the tasks that I do on a daily basis, which includes browsing through the user interface, social media applications, gaming, productivity, and mobile photography. The only real downside for me is when it comes to media consumption with a low resolution display and a satisfactory single downward firing speakers. Other than that, I have no problems recommending the Realme 6i. And there you have it guys, thank you for watching. Make sure to check the full article link below. Huge thanks to Realme Philippines for sending this in and for allowing me to provide my honest feedback about the Realme 6i. The Realme 6i is available in two variants starting at 7,990 for the 64GB variant, but you can get it for only 7,490 on May 20 on Lazada's flash sale. You can also get the new Realme Band for only 990 on May 23 and 26, again on Lazada's flash sale. I will be reviewing more Realme smartphones real soon, so make sure to subscribe so you won't miss out. By the way, I also started streaming on our Facebook page, so if you want to interact with me, you can follow me on Facebook. Thank you for watching. Have a great day guys. You're awesome.